We are down to the conference finals in the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs. We got the Edmonton Oilers taking on the Dallas Stars. Dallas finally woke up after a game one that they kind of let slip away, while the Rangers and the Panthers are going to overtime to what seems to be a nightly thing. Who's winning each series and going to represent the Western and Eastern Conference in the Stanley Cup playoffs? We got all that for you next here on The Crease. Welcome into The Crease, and before we get into all that great NHL playoff action we just broke down for you in our intro, I want to give a big shout out to Dubby, and there's a reason I'm shouting them out this time, not just to get you to try to buy some of their energy supplements, but if you're not a big powder, gotta mix the drink, everything like that in your shaker bottle, that's okay. Dubby now has canned products. You can get 12 packs. They have a strawberry banana and a mango orange dreamsicle flavor. 12-pack cans you can get off of their site, delivered straight to your house. All the energy, all the jitterless energy you need, none of the stuff you don't. 150 milligrams of caffeine per can. No crash, no jitter. So go to Dubby, order their cans. If you don't want the cans, get the supplements, get the powder. You can mix it yourself with any other drink you want. There's tons of flavors. Go check them out. You can go to dubby.gg. The link will be in the description of this video, as well as a code that can get you 10% off and help support the house call in the description of this video. Now, as much as I would like to start off with Ian's Dallas Stars and the Edmonton Oilers, we're not going to start in the West because I don't want him to get that much of a high right now. We'll save it for the end of the video. We're going to start out east, where the Florida Panthers have been in a dead fight with the New York Rangers after the Florida Panthers shut them out in game one. Each other game has gone to overtime, with the Rangers stealing the last two, taking a 2-1 lead going into game four, and it has been an absolute dogfight. And what I thought would be a very good series, I already predicted would go 7, and they've had 2 overtimes in 3 games. I did not think it would be this competitive. I thought, there'd be a game would slip here, kind of go back and forth a little bit, but these have been tightly fought games, with the exception of game 1. And that being said, there's a part of me that didn't think the Florida Panthers would be able to hang with the Rangers. I didn't think, the way the Rangers had looked pretty much all year, how they had looked in these playoffs. I did not think that the Florida Panthers could have kept up with them in this sort of fashion. But right now, this series is anybody's guess. I don't think Florida feels like they're out of it being down 2-1. I think that it's a must-win game in game 4 for Florida. I think they have to win that game to really keep this a series. I think, you don't want to go down 3-1 to a New York Rangers team heading back to New York. That doesn't seem like a good recipe for success if you're a Florida Panthers fan. So I think game 4 is a must-win for them, and I think they can get it done. I think that, you got playoff Bob in net. I think he's going to be fantastic. The Rangers have shown kind of they're willing to hit you as many times as they got to. They're a very physical team, but this Florida Panthers team is used to that. They are a very physical team as well. They bullied the Lightning in what was had one of the highest hit totals per game in this playoffs we have seen, and one of the highest in any playoff series we have seen in a really long time. So without further ado, I'm going to kick it over to our residential Rangers hater, the guy who would rather watch the Rangers burn than piss on them to put them out, our own Gage. So Gage, break down this series for me. Obviously, based on your name, you already got the Panthers going, man. So how do you see game 4 breaking down and this series moving forward?
I guess guys like Matt Rempe, throwing him in the lineup for game 2 and 3 has made a hell of a difference on the ice for New York. Very evident, very gritty all around for New York. So the Master Panthers' intensity and physicality, which is how the Panthers win games. They just bullied the Lightning. They bullied the Bruins, which is not easy to do, but bullied the shit out of the Bruins. And it's hard to do against the Rangers. It's a very hard thing to do against the Rangers. But it's going to be that type of hockey. It's going to be close. It's going to be 1-2 goal games. Game 1, Shesterkin had an off game. You can't prey on those. I do think it would be, like I said this about the Rangers for game 2. It's going to be very hard to beat the Rangers 2 times at home ice. It's going to be very hard to beat the Panthers 2 times at home ice. I do think the series will get to 7 back and forth. But hopefully it's at the end of game 7, the Panthers up a goal.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not like as a Boston sports fan predominantly. Obviously, I have my Cubs fandom, which I'm not going to get into here. I have no love for the Rangers, but this is a tough series for me to want to pick. If both these teams could lose and we just have 2 series of Edmonton and Dallas, I'd be okay with that because the Panthers have done me dirty 2 years in a row.
The Panthers haven't won a cup though. Let them have one.
Hey,
no.
Hey, I got some hatred for them.
The Panthers. I'm fine with the Panthers not winning a cup as long as Joe stays miserable.
I'll always.
Joe's already miserable.
Have you seen what has happened?
Joe, look at your beard, Joe. The Bruins are making your beard go gray in your 30s.
You should see what's underneath this hat, man. There's a reason I wear these.
Hey, do the reveal.
I'm bald.
Do the reveal.
I luscious locks. They're just turning gray from the stress that my
show what the Bruins are doing to you. Pull off the hat. Pull off the hat and show what the Bruins are doing to you.
You can see it in there, man. There's gray. It's all on the sides and stuff. Looking like a less rich, less smart Reed Richards here, man. Shout out the Fantastic Four.
This is what not winning a championship in 3 months does to you.
Well, all Joe has to look forward to is the Cubs and the Celtics, who had a cupcake walk to the finals. We're gonna get.
And the Celtics are gonna lose to the Mavs. So
yeah, they're gonna get dog walk.
Do we have to bring me down every time we do this?
Yeah.
Yes.
This is a NHL segment, boys. We do not have time to be hating on me. All right, I get enough hate. I hate on myself enough. I have enough.
Look, I haven't started in on Gage yet, and that'll come later.
Yeah, good. Congratulations. You just got the worst coach for a special teams for any team.
Hey, congratulate. What about me? I'm still alive. I'm happy.
Yes,
if I can get 2 championships in the same sports year, I will be ecstatic. My Rangers have already won a World Series, so if I get the Stars to win, it'll be a very
the Rangers
happy
got it last year. You get the Stars and you get the Mavs, man. You get the
I'm a Thunder fan. I'm not happy about that. I'm a Thunder fan. I'm not happy. See this?
I'm repping it. But yeah, I didn't. If both these teams could lose, I would be a-okay. I would not mind at all. But it's really I feel like, as I am an underdog fan in most situations, I just don't really want the Panthers to be that underdog right now. I'd rather Edmonton be that underdog.
Gee, thanks, Joe.
But, hey, we'll get there. We'll get there. I do like the Panthers' chances. I had said, Florida reminded me of how they looked last year a little bit. They looked like they were more playoff ready, a little earlier in the season than they did last year. However, the Rangers are the Rangers, and this President's Trophy curse, I would like to see it broken. So I have interest on both sides. I would like to see the Panthers not go after what they did, but they have unfinished business. I think I would like to see the Rangers go just to show the President's Trophy curse isn't a thing. It's just all in our head. We're all superstitious weirdos. But this series is going to be entertaining. I already called it. This was the best series we could have hoped for on either side in any conference and in any round. This is the series to watch, and so far it has delivered. But Ian, I'm going to go to you here, man. How do you see this series playing out going forward, obviously Game 4 and into the rest of the series? And is this a must-win for the Panthers?
Absolutely. You can't let the Rangers get 2 on your home ice. I think for the most part, the Panthers have been the better team, but what Game 3 showed me is that the Rangers are extremely opportunistic and they'll get timely goaltending. The Panthers, for the most part, outplayed and dominated the Rangers in that game, but the Rangers didn't waste their chances. Igor has been a brick wall. We know this about him. And Bob didn't play all that great, allowing, 5 goals on 21 shots? He did not have a strong game. I think that's the one thing that needs to change. It kind of reminds me a little bit of the Stars Knights series, where the Stars, for the most part, were the better team through the first 2 games, but Vegas just pounced on their opportunities, and I'm saying the same thing here. It's not that the Panthers are doing anything wrong. It's that the Rangers they create their own luck, and they create opportunities and windows that they capitalize on. And for that, they should be commended. I mean, Igor's been a rock. 32 of 36 saves in Game 3. stealing one on the Panthers' home ice, and that's a boost. That's definitely a boost going into Game 4 for the Rangers. I think this is the most crucial game of the series because I think if the Rangers win it, this series is over in 6. I think if the Panthers win it, it's going 7. And if it goes 7, all bets are off because I really couldn't tell you who would win. Last Game 7 the Rangers played in didn't go too well for them, much to Gage's delight. But, yeah, it's just going to be a heck of a series, and I don't really know who to predict right now. I could see it going either way. If it goes 6, I'm going to give it to the Rangers. If Game 4 is won by the Rangers, it's a Rangers series in 6. If it goes 7, Panthers are winning in 7. That's my prediction for the series, and I can't say that with confidence because this series could turn on anything. It's so evenly matched.
I mean, yeah, you're 100% right. This series is really, really evenly matched. In coming over a 3-1 deficit isn't unheard of. We've seen Florida do it before. They've done it before. And to a President Trophy winner just last year. If you're you guys ever, I mean, and so allowing the Panthers to get down 3-1 by no means put a nail in the coffin. I mean, Florida would just look at it like, hey, we've been here before. Like this is nothing new, right? And it's happened 32 times in NHL history where a team has overcome a 3-1 deficit. So I mean, it's history. I mean, it's you think 32 times, and the NHL's been playing for how long? Like that tells you it hasn't happened often, but the Florida Panthers are capable of doing it. They have the roster to do it. They can get the coaching, they can get the play, they can get the goaltending. They have the capability to overcome a 3-1 deficit. And the Rangers' worst decision they could make is win Game 4 and think they got it in the bag.
You can't sit back against this Panthers team.
Not at all. They are a hard hockey team. They are to defeat and put away, and they have proven it at every single turn. And you looked at like how Boston came out in Game 1 against them and dropped us 6 goals on them. It was nuts. And everyone's like, oh, man, Boston might just get them back. And then Florida settled in, and they were ready to go. And you saw
Shut that down real quick.
Real quick. So don't let Florida hang around. This is not a team that you can let hang around. Never has been, never will be. This is 2 years in a row. If they go down 3-1 to a President's Trophy winner 2 years in a row and then come back to win the series, I will literally lose my mind because that is some insane grit. We're going to go ahead and move out west. We're going to talk about.
Start with Gage on this.
I plan to. I wasn't going to let you start.
Save the best for last.
The best. Well, the most fanboy for last. The most homer for last.
Hey! I'm not as biased as you are towards your Bruins.
I talk more shit about my. I'm on the soapbox. I talk more shit about my sports teams than anybody else on this panel. All right, I didn't think the Bruins would get past the Leafs, and they almost proved me right. I really thought they wouldn't get past the Panthers, and except for Game 1, I was right.
Quick side topic, Joe. How many teams that you root for have a bear as their mascot? Because I know the Cubs and the Bruins, and that's the problem. See, that's the problem right there.
Dude, fuck the Patriots. Be a Bears fan. Just really hit it.
Just be a Bears fan.
Bears, Grizzlies.
I don't hate myself.
More Celtics.
No, shout out to Kyle, who is all part of the house dog.
Hey, when the Celtics lose in the finals, you can be a Grizzlies fan.
You already have a John Moran jersey.
Because Jason Tatum's going to get traded to Memphis, and you can be a Celtics fan. You can be a Grizzlies fan.
Oh my God, bro! Like, why do you guys want me to hate? Like, I clearly have some issues.
I mean, you clearly don't hate yourself as much as Gage. He's a Devils fan.
I mean,
and a Jets fan. He's a Devils fan that keeps a closet full of Rangers.
You don't root for you're a Yankees guy, right? Yankees, Knicks. Okay, so 3 of the 4, he's caused him severe pain.
Oh, so you and my brother would get along, is what I'm hearing, because he's a Knicks fan too.
Yeah, well, Knicks fans also hate each other.
We have a award we were running for Game 7.
Don't worry, we got the Pacers for you. Don't worry.
Yeah, without Tyrese Halliburton, and still almost lost 3 of those games.
Hey, you know how to make sure that people can't say you didn't have to overcome adversity? You create your own.
Exactly. Anyhow, so
All right.
Oilers, Panthers.
Yeah, so Oilers, Panthers. Let's get back on
Wait,
track.
okay.
You heard him say it. So he goes, Oilers, Panthers. You heard him say it. He didn't even want to
Stars,
talk about
Oilers.
Stars.
Stars, Oilers.
Good
Forget the Panthers for
Okay,
a second.
so
Stars, Oilers. The
Stars,
important teams
are-
in the league.
Stars are currently up 2-1 after what was a double overtime game 1 of the Western Conference Series. The Stars have woken up and have won the last 2 games by at least 2 goals and continue to show why they are the class of the Western Conference. They have looked it the entire time. In fact, just to rub some more salt in the wound, the rookie, or I guess the rookie, you want to call him the rookie, he was drafted in 2021. He's taken 23rd overall. 2 spots after the Bruins drafted. And I saw this little tidbit today, which damn near broke my soul, where I believe it's Wyatt Johnston, if I'm not mistaken.
That is correct, Johnston. Don't forget the T.
Yeah. The Bruins could have drafted him, and instead they drafted a kid who has not played a single minute of hockey.
Sells a good prospect. He's just not Johnston.
And they could have had Johnston. And if the Bruins had Johnston,
You could have had Johnston and Stankoven.
isn't that great? Isn't that fantastic? That the Bruins not only passed on 2 playoff contributors, they didn't get anything in return for it. So the Stars are they're built, they're ready to go. And then you have Edmonton, who, new kid on the no block, has decided that he is going to roll with Stuart Skinner in net for game 4. And we've been saying all along that Edmonton has always had one key weakness. And I always felt that Stuart Skinner and the goalies that play for the Edmonton Oilers got a bad rap. I think that if you're a goalie-needy team that has a good defense, you could get Stuart Skinner on your team, and he's a plus 900 save percentage guy. I think Edmonton has been missing a key defensive presence for a hot minute, and they will continue to miss that until they value it. And this could be sort of the writing on the wall for them to either do that or start to consider the possibility that they can't win with what they got. I am still an Edmonton believer. I thought when they turned it around, I had them picked to go all the way. I thought the hockey they were playing was playoff style winning hockey. I thought they could do it. I thought Stuart Skinner was going to be good enough for them in net. And I forgot one key part of this, and that part is that during the regular season, you don't play playoff caliber teams every single game. And as we have seen, as Edmonton plays playoff caliber teams every single game, their glaring black eye, their giant pimple on the team, their defensive capability to keep pucks off their goalie and stop turning the puck over in their defensive zone for free shots has reared its ugly head. And so, Gage, as you and I are both still firmly on the Oilers train, and Ian wishes to save his Homer fandom for the Stars for last to hype this video up, I'm going to start with you. How do you see the rest of this series playing out?
It really, really depends on how Game 4 turns out. If Edmonton wins it, they'll go to Dallas and lose. And I think they come back to Edmonton, have a convincing Game 6 to either absolutely get doors blown out in Game 7 or win a super close game because they can't stop a goal. The highest scoring Game 7. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. There's no other way it goes. If they lose tonight, Dallas probably wins Game 5 in the series. It's over.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I feel that the Stars, I don't feel like Edmonton's a team that looks at a 3-1 hole, has the mental toughness to overcome it. They have, their coach, Noblock was, brought in. He turned the team around after an abysmal start. I think that, they kind of lack, that mental toughness. And realistically, you're relying on them to outscore their problems. But against a good defensive team that has good goaltending in the Stars, you're not going to have those opportunities. Edmonton needs to play mistake-free hockey. And they don't have the depth and the defensive presence to do so. I have seen it multiple times throughout these playoffs with them where they have mental lapses in their discipline on the defensive side of the puck. And they, credit to them, they play a very, very high-powered offense style of hockey. And since we brought it into, we talked about the Pacers a second ago, the Edmonton Oilers feel like the Indiana Pacers, where they can score at will, but it doesn't matter if you can't stop anybody. Like, you can score 120 all you want, but if everyone else is scoring 125, who gives a shit, right? Like, that's what we're talking about here. The Edmonton Oilers can drop pucks on you at any given moment. You give them an opportunity, they will find the back of the net. The problem is that they don't have the capability for 60 minutes of hockey to not allow you to do the same. And so without further ado, we're going to go ahead and give it to the residential Stars fan, the man who's the only man on this panel, including Carl, shout out Carl, who still has a team that they root for regularly, not just jumping on the wagon to still have some reason to watch playoff hockey and not, put ourselves in a dark closet like we're Aaron Rodgers and drink ourselves on ayahuasca and beer and self-loathing in the shower or something like that with sad 80s music on or something.
No, he's just drowning in self-loathing in a submarine somewhere.
Probably. But we're going to go to Ian, whose Stars are still alive and winning the series right now 2-1 in the Western Conference with a chance at the Stanley Cup playoffs. Ian, take it away. Tell us about this series, how you see it playing out, and are your Dallas Stars going to be Stanley Cup bound?
First and foremost, I'm not going to crap on the Oilers. I'm going to give the Oilers their props because this is probably the deepest team that the Oilers have had in the McDavid-Draisaitl era. This is the best defense core that they've had in the McDavid-Draisaitl era, and it's the second best goalie they've had in the McDavid-Draisaitl era behind 2017 Cam Talbot. They're a very good team. This is the best top six they've ever had, and Dylan Holloway, credit to him, has elevated his game in these playoffs. And so is Vinny Desharnais. The problem is they ran into the best collection of forwards and defensemen that, in my opinion, the Dallas Stars have ever had. And that's not just my opinion. That's the opinion of Marty Turco. Shout out to him on the Spit and Chicklets podcast earlier today. Edmonton can score at will, and we saw that in Game 1. They were flying. Or in Game 3. We've seen that in all three games, but especially in Game 3, they can score at will. I don't think Ottinger had his best game in Game 3. He looked shaky. He came off of his post. He came out of his crease a couple times. And I got nervous watching that. But to the Stars' credit, this is a much more mature team than we saw in the Western Conference Finals last year. I think last year, they lose this game 5-0. Matter of fact, I can attest to that because in Game 3, in a similar start that they had against Vegas, they lost the game 4-0. They look more mature than last year. They're deeper than last year, and they look mentally tough. They learned some valuable lessons from Vegas and Colorado, two previous champions, and I think the road of attrition that they've had has created mental toughness that the Oilers just don't have. And you saw it in the second period and the third period of Game 3. It helps with Rope Hintz being back in the lineup, a Selke caliber first line center, and it really unlocked the abilities of Jason Robertson getting a hat trick. The star power showed up for the Stars. Obviously, Robo's hat trick. The fourth goal was a combination of a very smart play and bad positioning by Stuart Skinner. But I don't put the loss on him just because enough times, especially in the second period, as soon as the Stars got the puck behind the Edmonton goal line, the defense stood stock still and let the Stars cycle it low. Too many times I saw Matt Duchene, Mason Marchment, Tyler Seguin, Jamie Benn, Logan Stankov, and Rope Hintz would cycle it below the goal line, and Edmonton's defense was lost, especially Darnell Nurse. Nurse isn't a bad player by any means. He's not worth his contract, which makes him a liability because with the money he makes, he has to be the superstar defenseman, and he's not that. So I think that's one of their problems. Which, funny story, going back to your point on Wyatt Johnston, in the 2021 draft, I'm going to let y'all guess who had the pick right before the Stars at 23. Joe, would you like to guess who had that pick?
I don't even want to. Just hit me with it, man.
Edmonton. Edmonton had the 22nd pick in that draft and picked Xavier Bourgault. Johnston with the next pick. He could have very easily been playing for the Oilers right now. And you look at the Oilers. Look at how would you guys say they've drafted since, let's say, 2015 when they got McDavid? How would you guys say they've drafted?
Yeah.
Maybe not badly because they're in the conference finals, but with Dallas, you look at their guys that they have. Obviously, Jamie Benn's been there forever. Sagan wasn't a draft pick of theirs. He was a Bruins pick. Oddly enough, the Jamie Benn pick in the 5th round of 2007 was a Bruins pick. But you see Dallas, since they drafted Roope Hintz in 2015, they've hit on almost every pick. Roope Hintz was 2nd-round pick. 2017 was a generational draft, getting Miro Heiskanen, Jake Ottinger, and Jason Robertson. 2020, they drafted Maverick Bourque, who will be in the lineup next year. He, right now, is our top prospect and just won AHL MVP. 2021 looks like another generational draft, getting Johnston and Stankoven. And it just speaks to the management team that they have in Dallas. I think Paul Bissonnette said it. I don't know where he said it, but I know he said that Dallas rated Detroit's scouting staff, which might have something to do with it, since they were the team that drafted and developed players well. Now it's Dallas's turn, and it just, the way the Stars have created the depth in their lineup through their drafting and by making smart trades and signings for players they've needed, you get the product you see on the ice. And with the veterans they have in the locker room, it shouldn't come to a shock to anybody that they were able to bounce back like they did in Game 3. So, as a Stars fan, I couldn't be more proud of them. Game 4, I have full confidence in that we're going to win. We're 6-1 on the road in this postseason. We were the best road team. 6-1 on the road this postseason. We're the best road team in the NHL this year. And I think we're going to win this series in 5. Wouldn't shock me if Edmonton stole Game 5, but I think the 2 losses they had in Games 2 and 3 were just soul-crushing. And I don't know if they have the mental fortitude to bounce back from it. And I know the Stars are showing killer instinct that I've never seen out of them before. So that's my series prediction. I'm picking the Stars in 5.
That's not a bad pick. I would hate for it to happen because I am still pulling for the Oilers. However, you hit on all the points, man. Dallas they're too good. I think they're too good of a team to allow the Oilers, with the issues that we've known the Oilers to have, to win this series. And I think that's just kind of the way it is. I think Edmonton, they had a Cinderella run from how they started. We thought they were going to be in the bottom of the league and competing with the Sharks on the worst record, and pretty much, one of the worst records in history, a month and a half into the season. And now they're in the Western Conference Finals, Finals here with the Stars. So as much as I would love to see Edmonton do the impossible and make it all the way to, keep the Cinderella run going and make it to the Stanley Cup playoffs, I just don't see it happening. I'm still rooting for them and would love to see it, but I believe we are going to see the Dallas Stars represent the Western Conference. I agree with you on that. And I know, Gage. I know. I get it. I understand.
Joe, I can't be happy. Ian can't be happy either.
I know. I want him to be miserable with us.
I don't want to be miserable. I want to turn into the entitled.
Neither did we.
I want to turn into the entitled brat that wins championships. I'd love to have 2 championships. Joe, you were a Boston fan. You get to be miserable for who knows how long. You're a Pats fan. You're also a Cubs fan, and you can't use that excuse anymore because they won a championship.
After 108 years.
You
Hey,
still
go
saw
ahead.
it,
There were people that never saw them. There were Cubs fans that lived and died, Ian.
and you're not
That's the
one
same
of them.
with Jets fans. I don't want to hear it.
And you're not one of them, Joe.
No, I actually got to see it. So, yeah. I'll
And
get
you
it,
got
but
to
you
see
know
the
what?
Bruins
You
win
know
a
what?
championship
I'm going to be honest
And
with
the
you. I'm gonna be
Pats.
honest.
6 times. And Tom Brady wins 7.
He remembers firmly 2000.
Oh, I do. I
old bitch.
watched it. It was great. But the only question that remains is who the Dallas Stars will face. And honestly, everyone on this panel, it's a 50-50 shot. The Panthers and the Rangers
That's a
are
coin
going.
toss.
It is going to be
I
insane.
definitely bet the Panthers tonight.
Jesus.
Oh, great.
Of course you did.
So it's the
Of
kiss
course
of
you did.
death.
Knock
So
on
the
some
Rangers
wood.
are winning
Dude,
tonight.
I've been money for the last 4 NHL.
There's a rule to betting, Gage. You never call your shot and brag about it until it cashes, and you just jinx.
Gage, next
Panthers fans,
time-
if you lose, it's that man's fault.
Gage, if the
Right here.
Stars and Rangers go to the final, if the Stars and Rangers go to the final, Gage, you have to name yourself the kiss of death for the next
I bet on the
episode.
Stars every game, Ian.
And if you bet on the Stars every game, you're never coming to this podcast ever again. That's not true.
I'd rather
I control this. You can't say that. This guy doesn't have any.
Hey, if you're watching this, and if Gage bets the
Joe
Stars and we
Elliott.
lose,
What are you
I control everything here. Rob has no power on the crease either, Ian. It is all mine.
hey, look, misery loves company, and y'all two can have the company and take Carl with you. I'd rather not be miserable.
I tell
So
you,
would we.
The only thing that would be better
rather
is
see
if
New
the
York happy
Devils
than
beat the
Rangers
Bruins
win
in
and the
the
Stars
conference
win.
finals this year. Next year, I want to see the Devils beat the Bruins in the conference finals. I want to see the Stars beat the Avs in the second round, and I want to see us beat the Devils in the Cup final, just so that
I think if
all of
people
y'all-
are here, but I don't think the Devils are going anywhere anytime soon again.
well, no, who'd they hire?
Which sucks for me. I really thought.
Who'd they hire as their coach? Sheldon Keefe? I always get it mixed up if they hire Travis Green or Sheldon Keefe. You want to see a team that's not going anywhere is Ottawa, but we don't need to talk about them.
Last year was, I think, a fluke, and I don't think the Devils would be good.
It's not a fluke. All you need is a goaltender. I think you hired the right guy for the job because
I really do.
it brings in a stronger defensive system, and one thing you need is a defensive defenseman. That's really what you need, and you need. I don't think Dougie Hamilton could be your number one D-man just because he's all offense. But I think for the Devils to get better, I know, sidetrack. You've got the forward core in place. Jack Hughes has to stay healthy, and you have to get better number one D-man. And find a goalie. Because if you don't find a goalie, none of that matters.
Well, Stuart Skinner might be available soon, so
He wouldn't do much better. Honestly, the perfect goalie for the Devils right now would be prime Corey Schneider.
Jesus.
I'd rather take ancient Martin Brodeur.
Marty wouldn't do great either. We can have that debate later.
We definitely can. Well, that's all we have today for the crease. Obviously, Ian is praying he doesn't join the depression squad that is the Devils, Avs, and Bruins fandom that it makes up this panel. And his Stars are sure looking like they're at least going to survive one more round based on how they're playing, but you never know how these will go. Hop in the comments. Let us know who you think's winning the Western and Eastern conferences and who is going to end up in the Stanley Cup. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe on all of our social media platforms, as well as check out our website, which will be in the link of this description of this video. You can also go check out our affiliates. That link is on our website as well as our blogs.
English now.
Thank you for tuning in. This has been the